do we look? How do we sound? Everything coming in clear? Good deal. Well, let's get things rolling right away. Greetings, gamers. This is Rad with Arcade 816. I'm here live at Pixel Blast Arcade in Lisle, Illinois. We're doing another Tuesday trade-ins where we take all the games out of the 816 cabinets and we swap them out with 4 new games. So let's jump right into it. First off, the Atari 2600 cabinet. We've been rocking Missile Command. This week we're going to switch it up with Yar's Revenge. How does one describe Yar's Revenge? It's a you play as a mechanical fly, I guess, and you attack a base that's on the right side of the screen, and you try to eat away the barrier as the fly, and then when you've eaten away enough of the barrier, you can attack the creature that's inside. Yeah, it's an oddball game, but oddly enough, it's the top-selling original Atari 2600 game, not an arcade port. Pac-Man was the highest-selling game on Atari 2600, but Yar's Revenge is actually the highest-selling original game on that system. So it's very popular, very cool game. I've always had a lot of fun with it when I was younger. So yeah, definitely come into Pixel and check it out. It's pretty wild. I did a horrible job describing it. Just come in and play it, check it out, see what you think of it. I think it's pretty cool, and a lot of other people did too. Moving on to Sega Genesis. I actually got some feedback on this one when last week when we put in, or 2 weeks ago, we put in Streets of Rage. And man, Streets of Rage is a classic. I said that last time, but a couple of people were like, yeah, I do like Streets of Rage, but like, man, why didn't you do one of the sequels? I'm like, all right, why don't we do that then? So I'm going to jump right over Streets of Rage 2 and go right to Streets of Rage 3. Now, the reason I'm jumping right to 3 is because this one's a little bit interesting. So I wanted to get it out there and let you guys check it out. This is the Japanese version of Streets of Rage 3. It's a lot of stuff because of, censors and that in the 90s. Marketing was a little bit different than it is now. A lot of stuff got cut out of Streets of Rage 3. Some bosses, some entire levels got cut out of it for the U.S. release. So this is the uncut Japanese release. It's got all the levels, it's got all the bosses, everything in its full glory as it should be. And like I always say, whenever I put one of these games out, I always like to put out the best version of that game. So definitely Streets of Rage 3, man, it's a classic. And it actually utilizes all 6 buttons on the 6-button controller. So our Genesis cabinet's rocking the new 6-button control panel. We've got it ready to go. So yeah, definitely check this one out too. It's pretty cool. Let's move on to the Nintendo cabinet. A couple weeks ago, we had a little fun with Super Mario Bros. 2, the Japanese Super Mario Bros. 2, not to be confused with the American one where you pull out vegetables. This was the Japanese one, deemed too difficult to release in the USA, but I kind of showed you a way to make a game a little bit easier. Hopefully some of you came in here and were able to try out that trick. But now it's time for Super Mario 2 to go, but we're going to keep the whole Mario month thing going. We don't want to get rid of that, so I thought it would be fun to give Pixel Blast Arcade another pin. So this is Pinball by Nintendo. So you might be asking yourself, Pinball, how is that a Mario game? Well, as you can see on the cover, that's Mario right there. There is a mode in the game where if you get the ball into a certain spot on the playing field, you can play as Mario and you rescue Pauline. This predates Princess Peach, so it was still Pauline back then that he was rescuing. And if you rescue her, you get a big point bonus. If you don't rescue her, you get an auto game over. So be careful if you get it into that mode. So Pinball for Nintendo. So you might be asking yourself, so if you're putting Pinball in the Nintendo cabinet, how are we going to play Super Mario Brothers? How are we going to play Super Mario Brothers 2? Well, that's easily solved with Super Mario All-Stars for the Super Nintendo cabinet. That way, we've got you completely covered. You've got Super Mario Brothers. You've got Super Mario Brothers 2. You've got Super Mario Brothers 2, the Japanese version, although here it's called the Lost Levels. You've got Super Mario Brothers 3. And this version, our version, 816's version, of course, is the version that also has Super Mario World built into it, too. So you've got access to 5 games. So we're putting in these 3, plus another 5 here. That's a lot of games we're putting in this week. So definitely you want to come into Pixel Blast and check all these out. We've got Yar's Revenge, we've got Streets of Rage 3, Pinball, and Super Mario All-Stars. So we're going to be saying goodbye to Missile Command, the first Streets of Rage, we're not really saying goodbye to Super Mario Brothers 2 because, you know, you can find it as the lost levels in Super Mario All-Stars. So that's pretty much it. So I hope you enjoy the selections this week. If you don't, then you should be getting on to the Facebook page and letting us know what games you actually want to see. And also, the other thing I should tell you is that in another 2 weeks, I'll be back here. We're going to do another trade-in in 2 weeks. And Terry and I talked about it, and we kind of decided that we want to do a kind of a Halloween theme for October. So start thinking about games you might want to have that are Halloween themed. We can throw out some suggestions for you. There's some pretty obvious ones, but I'm not going to do that. I'm going to let you guys chime in on the Facebook page and decide what you want to see next month. So for now, check these games out only at Pixel Blast Arcade in Lisle, Illinois. Do me a favor, and if you're watching this video, press like. It does us a world of good, spreads the word about us. Thank you so much. I'm Rad with Arcade 816, and we'll see you soon. Thanks.